Hey all, this is a walkthrough of the genetics and reproductions PowerPoint that you have for week 2. Okay, mine's going to look a little different than you because I'm still in the edit your syllabus stage, so you'll have it look a little different, and instead of student materials it will just have yours, so no big deal, right? You're going to create an at least 5-slide PowerPoint presentation in response to the following question. Female copperhead snakes have the ability to reproduce both sexually and asexually. In your opinion, which method is the best for the species in general, and why? So we're really going to take this more from a genetic point than in general. So in here you're going to get points to discuss asexual and sexual reproduction in terms of genetic diversity, include the pros and cons for each, and relate back to those snakes. Meiosis related to genetic diversity, and that's going to be in general and again for the snakes. And then you're going to use one of Mendel's laws to support your opinion. You're going to be specific and relate back to that snake. And you're going to cite everything. Remember to have at least three references. That includes in-text and full, so 3 full references with as many in-text as you need. And 1 point for your format. Don't forget those speaker notes. So let's go look at the rubric that I have that you can download. It will be over here. It's the one that says the GR rubric. Let me pause it, pull that. Okay, so here's our rubric. So it's just the same thing. It tells you it's 2. So 6 points is for the presentation information, and a point for references. Make sure you have those in-text citations. They match your full references. You need to have 3 or I'll get fussy of the full references and your formatting. Oh, I'm going to have to sneeze. Okay. Sneezed. Okay, so here's how I would approach it. You don't have to do the assignment like this, but this is how I do. So first, of course, you would have your title slide. Then we would do an introductory slide. This is where I would talk about the pros and cons of asexual reproduction really generally, and this would all be underneath the slide. I'd probably put like a picture of the copperhead snake on the slide, and then do female copperhead snakes, that they do both of them, and talk about that generally, and then that, like I said, the image on the slide, and then I would have my thesis all under that introductory slide. Asexuality slide or slides, I might do a slide for the pro, a slide for the con, and talk about those. And the sexuality, I'll probably do a pro and con slide, and then do one just for the meiosis, 1 or 2, because I might do one on like crossing over and one on like the parents. I would very much make sure I would cover crossing over and the parents. And then Mendel, I would talk about which one's better, and then bring in Mendel, what's his law, how's that work, and then I would have a conclusion slide just to say like, hey, once again, which one's better in terms of genetic diversity. And then here's a note just to remember, you need to have those speaker notes under the slide. They're going to be like, I'm going to change one other thing. As long as I'm changing thing, let's also say Mendel law. There you go. Speaker notes under the slide, and review the video like now for extra help. So let me save that sucker and pull up the PowerPoint. Alright, so I've opened PowerPoint. I have all these options. I just do a blank presentation. It's easier. So here's my slides. When I want to add new slides, I can do this, or I can also pick the layout that I want to put it in. So maybe we should. Oh, I don't like this. Let's just do a blank one. Oh, it's annoying, isn't it? Well, that one's not too bad. So in here, just make sure you do the normal APA, and you'll see down here my little arrow changes up. I'm going to pull that up. That's my speaker notes. So in here, let's say I call it the sex lives of copperhead snakes. Copperhead snakes. Whoa! Sounds like a reality show. Then here I still need to follow that same APA, right? So I would do my name, which apparently I can't spell today. Of course it would be your name. I seriously can't spell today. And then I would say BIO101, and then I would have the date. I'm just going to put in date, and then you could put my name if you wanted to. It's optional. Down here you don't really have to say much because it is a title slide. Now for the next one, I decide to do, I wouldn't call it introduction, but that's like deeper look. What is spelling? Deeper look into the snakes. Ooh. Okay. And then in here, I might do a couple through where it's like, right, like asex and sex. You spell it out. Like, which is best? I don't know. Mendel's vote, something like that. So they're all really short, and like up here too I would stick a picture because that's like really boring. So like have a photo in the background or whatever. So then here, down here in the speaker notes section, which is what we like, we're gonna do like our normal paper. So I would say like, you know, like the normal introduction would go here. So the introduction goes here, and I would type some stuff. Blah, 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 right? And then at the end of the introduction, I would have the last sentence of the introduction be the thesis, right? So you can also, because this is a PowerPoint, if you put a bunch of stuff in here, like say I add another slide, and this one's on the sex, I do my little points here. Then I might, if I wanted to do it all in one slide, I wouldn't recommend this, but I could do, I hit Control E, and then I might do Control B and say like pros, and then Control EB. Come on, go back over. It's like, no, now it's only going to be centered. Come on, Control E. Oh my God. There. So I clicked up there. Is it still bolded? Still bolded. Okay, and then I would talk about the pros. Talk about pros. And then I might do the same thing for the cons. Just give me that little bolded heading, so like that you would have in your paper would now be under here. So speaker notes is all going to be the stuff that you normally be in your paper, and then up on the slide is going to be some pretty pictures, whatever seems appropriate. You could add a table, you can do some bullet points. It's good to do kind of a variety. Try not to get them too wordy because you want your audience to be listening to you. So speaker notes is what you would say in more of an APA paper form. When you do the references, get rid of the annoying thing, you don't have to worry about hanging it in. So normally I would say that you have to do, you know, your author, then your date, then your title, and then retrieved from with the hanging indent. So let's just put in a bunch of letters. Say my link is really long, blah, 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 blah. So if we had something like that, normally I would have you hit enter and tab it over. Since this is a little bit of a pain to do that in the reference section on a PowerPoint, if you just leave it without the hanging indent, so it just looks like that, it's okay and I won't complain. Make sure they're all still in ABC order by that author's, the first line of each reference. So it should be the author's last name or the name of the organization. Typically it's going to be that organization. So you'll do that. You'll have you have at least 5 slides. I'm thinking 10 because I usually like 10 slides. I would probably have 1 for the title, 2 for asexual, a pro and a con, 2 for sex, 2 for sex, pro and con, and then 1 for meiosis, if not 2, 1 for Mendel, 1 for the references at least. So that puts you at about 8 slides. You know, sometimes you can go a little slide heavier if you want to, if you have a lot of pictures. Just make sure all of them have some words under them and you're talking about it. You include those in-text citations if you're paraphrasing anything. For the pictures that you put on the slide, if they are everywhere on the internet, they're considered common knowledge and you don't have to cite them. If you're finding them from a specific website, then you would have the photo. Like say the photo, say this is a picture, and then underneath it, if it lets me click on it, underneath it I would just put the in-text citation, you know, underneath the photo, and that's good. Make sure all the full references are going to be in your reference section. In-text citations are on your slides as need be, but mostly they'll be in your speaker notes because that's where they'll be. Okay, I think that's everything. I hope this helps. Enjoy.